Tervetuloa taas Israel-studioon. Kiertomatkamme Israelissa jatkuu edelleen ja tämänkertaisessa jaksossa tapaamme Haifassa syntyneen ja siellä koko elämänsä asuneen Edgar Khayatin, kristityn arabin, joka kertoo meille, mitä juutalaisten ja arabien yhteiselo käytännössä tarkoittaa. Kuulemme myös Arie Itamarin huikean tarinan. Hän saapui 8-vuotiaana kuuluisalla Exodus 1947 laivalla Haifaan vuonna 1947. Mutta silloin Palestiinaa hallinneet brittijoukot käännyttivät julmasti laivan kaikki 4515 pääasiassa Euroopan keskitysleireiltä selviytynyttä juutalaista matkustajaa takaisin Välimerelle ja heidät vietiin Ranskan kautta edelleen Hampurin lähistöllä olleelle keskitysleirille. Ohjelman loppupuolella palaamme vielä Jerusalemin rukousaamiaiselle ja kuulemme amerikkalaisen CBN-televisioyhtiön Jerusalemin kirjeenvaihtajan Chris Mitchellin sekä Israelin puolustusvoimissa palvelevan Chaim Malespinin haastattelut. Hyvät katsojat, tänään olemme Haifassa ja minulla on ilo pitää vieraanani paikallista tunnetun yrittäjäsuvun jäsentä Edgar Khayatia. Edgar, thank you for inviting me to Haifa.
Look, Risto, it is truly my pleasure and I am so very happy that you made it and you are here with me right now.
Yeah, and thank you for taking me around the city of Haifa and showing me the places of your family business.
Well, I am very proud of the connection, this very intricate connection that there is between my family, the Khayat family, a Palestinian, Christian Palestinian family from Haifa for the last 110 years. Previously, we were from Akko, Acre, 350 years at the very least documented.
Talking about the coexistence, you represent and you are an Arab, Christian Arab, yes, living in Israel, yes, born here in Haifa. A couple of years ago.
Yes, 50 years ago to be.
50 years ago.
Yes.
So how is possible that both Jews and Arabs are living side by side and having a real coexistence, as you mentioned to me, like in no other city or area in Israel? The Haifa is the place of coexistence.
Yes, it is true. Haifa is an island of sanity and of well-being in this country. I would rather not even say coexistence. Coexistence, usually you have two sides, each one is living separately well, and they coexist. No, I want to talk about an existence, one existence for everybody together, better than coexistence, one good existence. Now, in Haifa, I might say that a reason could be that religiously speaking, it is not very sensitive. It is, let's say, for the Baha'i community, they have, let's say, their center here. But for Christians, Muslims, Jews, Haifa particularly is not that sensitive, let's say, like Jerusalem, for example, where maybe some places have more sensitivity, like people are more sensitive, they look at things in a much more extreme way. Here, things are a little bit more laid back. And it is a tradition also in Haifa to have this kind of life. And the people of Haifa are very jealous of this feature that there is in this city, and they don't want to lose it. They are really keen on keeping this kind of peaceful and fruitful existence between all the various components of the society. And I'm happy to belong to this city and to this family who belongs to this community.
Mm. As we toured the city up on the hill, Mount Carmel and downtown, where your businesses and real estate are located, so it seems that, and we also walked the Khayat street.
Yes.
So the tradition of your family is very visible here. So what brought you into this business other than your family has been it, but You are, like everybody is saying hello to you, and you are saying everybody hello.
Yes.
So how has it been?
My business allows me to meet many people. And as you see, I think that I know almost everybody downtown. And I enjoy this connection with the people because there is no such thing as the warmth of being greeted and greeting people almost every time you turn into one street or another. It makes a whole difference. When you go to some place and you are a stranger or nobody knows you, you have a certain feeling. If you go there and you know that everybody knows you and you know them, it is so intimate, so warm, so cozy. It makes a whole difference. And this kind of coziness makes me happy. And but you have to keep it up. You can't take it for granted that people will keep in touch with you just because you exist. You have to also take the initiative.
You are also an active practicing Christian. What does your faith mean to you, and how does it affect in your daily life and business?
Okay, my faith, the Christianity, is mainly about love. Jesus Christ gave us one big commandment: love one another. If we follow this one commandment, I believe that almost all the problems are solved. Because when you approach things out of love, you find then the ways to compromise, you find the ways to understand the other, you find the way to be open, you find the way to find solutions. You have this spirit. If you have the spirit of love in you, your life will be wonderful.
How has the war that Hamas started in October 7th, how has it affected the atmosphere, or has it?
Yes, no. For sure, the war that started on October 7th has deeply, deeply affected the country. It has caused a trauma for especially the Jewish population, but not only, because I have to remind everybody that also Arabs were killed in October 7th. So that we have to understand that it was an attack in which both communities were, Israel was the target, not Jews in particular. Victims were also Arabs and Jewish. And it has deepened the divide between Palestinians and Israelis, unfortunately, because I am one of those who wishes for this gap to be bridged and that there should be peace in this country. This kind of situation is not helping anybody. On the contrary, both sides are suffering.
What do you expect? How will this conflict end? What will happen and what should happen?
Okay, in my opinion, the conflict can end only in one way. Because they have tried all other ways for the last 100 years, because the problems were not created only with the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. Problems between the communities date before that, already in the 20s. So my solution for this conflict is that there will be a mutual recognition of both sides' legitimate claim to exist on this land, and there will be a new kind of entity which will be a merger between Palestinians and Israelis living here on the same land together peacefully. This is the solution I envisage.
Just like in Haifa?
Just like in Haifa.
Kävin Haifassa toukokuun lopulla, minkä jälkeen Libanonissa toimiva Hizbollah-terroristijärjestö on ulottanut iskujaan ensi kertaa myös Haifaan, ja tilanne Israelin pohjoisrajalla on eskaloitunut hyvin pahaksi. Seuraavaksi kuulemme Arie Itamarin mielenkiintoisen kertomuksen vuodelta 1947. Raportit täältä Jerusalemista jatkuvat, ja nyt minulla on mielenkiintoinen henkilö Arie Itamar, joka saapui tänne laivalla, Exodus 1947 laivalla, ja keskustelemme siitä hieman. So it's an honor for me to have you with me and discuss the very historic moment, how you came to Israel, 1947. What can you say about the the trip and the tour?
Well, it's a very long story, and I will not be able now to reveal all of it. But as a topics of the story first was the boarding in France on the ship. It was very big for me as a child. I was 8.5 years old, and it was very, very impressive. And when we started to board the ship, there were many children from orphan houses. Children which lost their parents in the Holocaust. And all of them, and together with us, started to sing songs of bravery, of hope, of survival. And it was an electrified atmosphere, the boarding. Another special moment was after the terrible battle against the British Navy, and we were captured by the British Navy and brought to Haifa port. But when we go to the balcony of the ship, we have seen the beautiful sight of the mountain, Carmel, of Haifa, with the forest and the small houses. It was a wonderful picture. Another topic was in France. We have been carried back in a jail ship, British, back to France, and we refused to go down. And when the French authorities offered us generously many good things, if we go down by our own will, we stand it, all of us. It was terrible condition, but we stand it. We sing Atikva, our hymn, and the French hymn Marseillaise.
But when you came, the ship Exodus 1947, it came to Haifa.
Yes.
So the British Navy attacked it on the seas, and then you came and you boarded, came to the land, but you were directed back to the
prison, to
prison
three
ship.
British prison ships, because after the battle, it was in the open sea, not territorial water. We were captured by the British Navy, and we has been brought to Haifa. And in Haifa port, they pushed us out of Exodus and boarding 3 jail ships.
So you had a few meters or minutes on the Holy Land, and then you were put back to a ship and returned to France, where you boarded.
Yes.
And then further to Germany.
And then, because we refused to go down in France by our own will, this was the French condition. Our own will, we refused. So they decided to bring us to the British occupied zone in northwestern Germany, Hamburg port. Then they have the opportunity to push us out by violence, because it was British territory. And so they take us by violence down into train and brought us into a detention camp, which was surrounded by British soldiers, wires, and we have to stay there until the British lost motivation. Why they lost motivation? It was 29th of November 1947 when there was the declaration in the United Nations to establish a Jewish state. The British understand that they have no chance anymore.
The game is over.
So they quit, and
they released you after that day.
They released, the camp was open, so every night arrived British stolen military ambulances in the camp, and we have been pushed 10 by 10 and back to France, back to the Mediterranean. But this time we have false documents, And with these documents on a French normal ship, we arrived again in Haifa. But this time, we have been permitted to go inside.
Okay. And that was December
It
1947?
was 31 of December 1947.
Okay. Sir, this is an honor for me to sit with you and listen to you.
Okay.
So thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you too, yes.
Okay, thanks. Se, että britit halusivat vielä kiusata keskitysleireiltä selviytyneitä juutalaisia, on käsittämätöntä, eikä sitä voi vieläkään mitenkään ymmärtää. Palaamme vielä hetkeksi Jerusalemin rukousaamiaiselle, missä tapasimme CBN-yhtiön Jerusalemin kirjeenvaihtajan Chris Mitchellin ja Israelin puolustusvoimissa edelleen Gazassa palvelevan Chaim Malespinin. Chris Mitchell, the office manager, editor-in-chief in CBN Jerusalem office. You've been here for
23 years. We came in August of 2000 and been here ever since.
Permanently?
Well, so far, yeah, living here,
Right.
you know, raised our family here for several years. We came with my wife and 3 children. They were 16, 11, and 8 at the time. What's called the Second Intifada began 5 weeks after we arrived, and it was a very tumultuous time in Israel's history, but God protected us during a time of a lot of terror attacks here in Jerusalem and around the country.
CBN is one of the major Christian media companies in the US and around the world. Why it has a permanent representation here in Jerusalem?
Well, I think it goes back to Pat Robertson, who founded CBN, and that was in 1961. In 1974, he was here, and he did an interview with then Rabin, who was the prime minister at the time. And at the time, Rabin was saying how they felt isolated from the rest of the world, that the world didn't allow them to achieve victory. And that was in 1974, and it sounds very similar to 2024. And right after that conversation and that interview that Pat had, he was on the Mount of Olives, and he made a vow to the Lord that he and all the organizations that CBN, that he founded, would stand with Israel. And I think that's the DNA of CBN, is to stand with Israel. Pat kept that vow from then till the day he passed away. His son, Gordon, is continuing that legacy to stand with Israel. And so I think CBN feels it's very important to have a presence here in Jerusalem so people can hear news, Lord willing, accurate news about what's happening here so they can be informed in spite of all the other things that are happening in the media, and so they can pray for Israel and stand with Israel.
If you compare the existing war to other campaigns or wars, how is it going now, and what is it?
I would say that October 7th was a watershed in Israel's history. I was here from 2000 during the Second Intifada. There was the 2005 disengagement from Gaza. There was the 2006 Second Lebanon War. There were several wars with Hamas from 2008-9, 2012-14, and 2021. But what happened in October 7, 2023 was it was like an acceleration of the nations coming against Israel. It was something that shook Israel to its core, emotionally, spiritually, militarily. It really was a change, an exponential change in the history of Israel. And I think we see the nations of the world coming against Israel. In 1974, then Prime Minister Rabin said, the nations won't allow us to have a victory. It's the same thing happening right now. Yeah.
We are at the Jerusalem prayer breakfast. And you've been observing the relations between Jews and Christians for 23 years here.
Yeah.
How have they developed?
In a historic way. I think maybe better relations now than any time in 2,000 years. We saw that happening around 2000 when, during the Second Intifada, one of the few groups that kept coming to Israel during that time of great danger were evangelical Christians. And Israelis and Jews saw that, and it really made a difference. But even since then, there has been an exponential rise in the relationship between Jews and Christians. The Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast is a perfect example of that, where Knesset members are meeting with leaders, Christian leaders from around the world, where Christian leaders are praying for Israel like never before. So this relationship between Jews and Christians is really been a sea change since 2000 to 2024, and it only seems like it's more important than ever because of the dangers and the threats facing not only the state of Israel and the Israeli people here, but Jews around the world.
One question related to the United States. There are reports that the support for Israel is declining among the Christians. Is it true?
I think it's true perhaps in the younger generation. I think in older generations, the support for Israel and the Jewish people is strong. But I think, and I've heard this in the last several days, is the need to reach out to a younger generation and to help inspire or educate them so that they have the same kind of connection with the land of Israel. One of the ways to do that, I have heard, is actually having young Christian leaders come over here to experience themselves what Israel is like. It's the land of the Bible, and it, as somebody said, demystifies some of the myths that people have that Israel is an apartheid nation, that it's committing a genocide in Gaza. And when you're here in the land, you know, those myths are dispelled because of the reality that Israel is not an apartheid nation.
Chris Mitchell, thank you so much for talking to Israel Studio, the Finnish program supporting Israel every week.
It's great to be with you, Risto.
Thank you. Chaim Malespin.
Yes.
Happy to meet you here in Jerusalem.
It's an honor, Risto.
Again. So
Yes.
it's been quite a while when we last met. But you are here at the Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast.
Yes.
You have a gun. Why are you?
I do. Well, so I am an active duty, that's draft 8, active duty reservist soldier. I've been called up since the 7th of October till now. I've been able to have a few breaks, many of them at strategic times like right now. And I'm amazed that you're here when there is a war going on, but you see that life goes on too. And we are beginning to rebuild. Even at the Nova Festival, where this peace festival, this music festival, where it was attacked, now many trees are planted. They've cleared away the bodies, they've taken away the burnt cars, and life is still continuing even in the midst of this war. But I have this because I'm an active duty soldier, and I'm going back in to continue defending Israel just now after this short break.
But why don't you have a uniform?
I have my uniform. I'll be wearing it tomorrow, but I don't have to wear the uniform all the time.
But you have to.
But I have to have this. I
the
can't.
gun.
I can never leave this in a car. Leave this in the room. No, I'm as an active duty soldier. I'm called upon. You'll see all the soldiers that are active duty will have the gun with them, and they have to be ready to be called up at any second. Go now. Get your stuff, and we need you. So, yeah.
So, have you been in Gaza or Northern Front or?
Yes, mostly Gaza. And I've been in every part of Gaza, whether it's Beit Lahia, whether it's Jabalia, whether it's all the way down to Rafah, which is where I'm serving now. Every single place, Gaza City, we've seen that the enemy is really fights with guerrilla warfare tactics, hiding like ghosts, come out, do an attack, RPG us, go back into the tunnel, and our job is to deal with the tunnels, find the hostages, map the tunnels, destroy the tunnels.
I was about to fly here on Monday morning, which I did.
Yes.
On Sunday, my wife and I, we were watching TV news about the rockets flying over Tel Aviv to Herzliya and all over.
Yes.
and my wife was asking me, are you really going to go to Israel?
Yeah.
And I said that I think I will.
You know,
So what is, you face this kind of threat almost every day, and of course in Gaza the threat is so true. But how is it possible that Hamas, Islamic Jihad, is still so powerful that after months and months of fighting,
almost 8 months,
they are still able to fire rockets?
Yeah, well, they haven't. This is the whole point of Rafah, going to where the last of the battalions are, is to crush the last of their ability to maneuver weapons, to rearm through the Rafah tunnels. There are many tunnels, about 70 tunnels that are just 50 going into Egypt right there. Of course, there's thousands of tunnels throughout Gaza, and they can bring supplies and bring all kinds of weapons, RPGs, bombs, claymore mines, TATP, TNT, all kinds of explosives, and bring them to the northern part of Gaza. The only way that I wish we would have completed what we set out to do, which was to actually cut Gaza with a line, Be'eri line, and be able to blow up all the tunnels in a whole row, and put a road there that's patrolled so that they can't bring all the weapons back to the north, like to Jabalia. But that's exactly what happened. Even from Beit Lahia, barrages of murderous rockets being shot onto civilians. And people forget that this has been happening way before October 7th. We've been living under rocket fire. Children will wake up in the night and hear the sirens, and they will walk sleepwalking because they're so used to doing it, pee their own pants because of the trauma. And then go into the bomb shelter. It's not a way to live.
So what brings you to the Jerusalem prayer breakfast?
Yes, even in the army, I had a special permission to be released for this time. And I'm very, very glad that I'm able to do it because I, like many Israelis, am amazed that there are friends from around the world who are, like you said, in a time of war where some airlines don't even fly here right now. El Al flies, but there's some like United that don't fly here right now.
And neither Finnair?
Finnair doesn't. There's many that don't fly here. And for you to be able to take people like you, to be able to take this initiative to say, I believe in God's plan for Israel. I believe in the Bible, what it says. Israel's not finished, and we will win this. And we will see a better day, a brighter future, and to stand and pray for the people of Israel. I thought this is my greatest privilege to be with people like that. Of course, as the Aliyah Return Center, now I also run this center which helps new immigrants. It looks like that with the pomegranate. And so I'm very glad to be able to connect that with people. And they say, what is this? I said, it helps new immigrants that are coming here to have a place to stay, food to eat, clothes to wear, and of course, job training. There's soup kitchen we help with and much, much more. But also there's a prayer house. Also there's discipleship school. So I want people to know about this in the Galilee where Jesus did almost all his miracles. So that's one of the reasons why I thought coming here, I will meet many friends.
Okay. Chaim Malespin, it was an honor to meet you again.
Hey,
God bless you.
God bless you.
Be safe and take care of the future of Israel.
Thank you. Thank you for standing with us in this time.
Thank you. Tässä tämänkertainen Israel-studio. Seuraavien kesäviikkojen aikana esitämme kevään aikana suosituimpia ohjelmia, joita et ehkä ole nähnyt vielä Israel-studiosta. Voit myös katsoa kaikki nuo ohjelmat osoitteessa israelstudio.fi. Toivotan omasta puolestani kaikille katsojille oikein hyvää kesää ja palataanpa uusilla aiheilla, uusilla vierailla ruutuun jälleen 15. elokuuta. Siihen asti, hei hei!